Hello there. Welcome to RICO'S Garage. Our Cummins swap Chevy is just about to the point where it's ready for the doghouse to be put back on. But before I can do that, I need to modify the core support so that it can hold the radiator and intercooler for the Cummins. We're going to graft the Dodge pieces into the Chevy core support. But if you remember, when I first introduced you to this project, I'll put the link up here somewhere for you to check. I told you that this 82 had the single square headlight with the turn signals in the bumper, which is my least favorite square body front end that there is. And I'd mentioned that I possibly may do a mini quad front end. Well, as luck would have it, through Facebook Marketplace, I found a guy parting out a GMC Jimmy, and I found this doghouse with the mini quad front end. Now granted, this is a GMC and our truck's a Chevrolet, but it'll be okay. The GMC's a better looking grill anyway. It'll confuse people. So, I bought the whole doghouse for a very good price. It's not great, but there's enough here to work with. It's complete. Everything is here. The bezels, grill, everything. This filler panel is not that great, but ours is still usable. This hood, even though it's straight, the paint on it is absolute garbage, so we probably won't use it. The driver's side fender on our 82 has the damage right here where it's pushed with the tractor. This fender is actually in pretty good shape, so we'll use this fender. The passenger side, the Jimmy had a antenna, whereas our 82 has it in the windshield, so we won't use that fender. We'll use our original, and we'll use the mini quad core support and everything. But before I can do that, before I can modify this core support, I gotta get it apart. So it's a nice day out here today. Social distancing is in full swing, except when you don't have any friends like me, and then it's not a problem because nobody comes over anyway. So, with that being said, me and all my friends are going to get busy tearing this apart. And you can watch from the safety of your own home. Because you've already watched everything on Netflix and watched YouTube, and you just about reached the end of the internet, but you found my channel. So, there we go. So that's pretty much everything stripped down. I got to pull the inner fender out of the old driver's side fender. We're going to reuse it. I'm going to stack everything I'm not going to use right there in a pile. I had a guy come by and ask me what I was going to do with it. I'm just going to call him and say, hey, what's in the pile? Take it. Don't sort through it. Don't pick through it. Take one, you take it all. So he'll haul it out of here, use it on his project, and everything will be good. So next video is going to be refurbing the core support. It's got some rot in it, but I believe everywhere it's rotted, we're going to cut out to put the Dodge stuff in there anyway. Just a quick little project after work. Man, it's starting. It's not even warm out here and I'm sweating. It's because I'm old and I'm fat. It's now Saturday morning. I've brought everything from outside to in here in the shop, sorted through, figured out what we're going to use, what we're going to throw away, what we're going to throw away. I put outside. Called another guy who hit me up earlier who's needing some parts for his project, and truthfully what was left over wasn't all that great, and I didn't feel good selling it to him, so I'm like, hey, you take it all, you can have it all. So he did, and he was happy, and I was happy to get rid of it, so that all worked out. I'll show you what we decided to keep, what we're going to reuse from the 82, and then we'll talk about this core support, which is kind of a good news, bad news kind of thing. So let's take you off the tripod and get busy with that. Alright, passenger side fender off the 82 is still good, so we're going to reuse it along with the inner fender well. We're going to use the driver's side fender off of the donor doghouse. We'll have to take this molding off and this chrome trim, as our other side doesn't have that. The side marker on here is junk, but I saved the one from the 82. The 82 hood's still good, so we're still going to use it. And down there is the driver's side inner fender from the 82 that's still good. Back of the truck. This is the 95 Dodge radiator support. That the only reason I'm still hanging on to it is it's got some bracketry that I may still be able to use. I don't know yet. Haven't totally figured out my plan for that. There's the GMC grille and headlight bezels. Yes, we're converting this truck to a GMC of sorts. And then back there, 82 grill and the one good headlight support, headlight trim ring. If anybody needs an 82 single headlight grill, I'll make you a really good deal on that. Then the 82 wiring harness I kept down there because I'm going to have to marry the two. The 82 and the 89 have different plugs in the firewall, so we'll have to do a little bit of custom wiring there. What? You are not supposed to be in here. Go. Get. Damn cat. On to the core support. I played with this a little bit off camera because I've never done one of these before, and I wanted to kind of work around it. Make it so I could tear everything apart and then show you guys once I knew exactly how we was going to do it. And for the most part, everything's going to work pretty good. Essentially, all I did on this style core support was take these two supports. They usually run like right about here. I just cut the spot welds loose with an air chisel. Pop them off. That allowed the intercooler to drop down in there just fine. Now we are going to have to drill two holes right there for them little bumpers to drop down, and right here, the top bracket here right now interferes with the headlight. As you can see, we obviously can't run a bolt through here into the headlight, but I'm pretty confident I can pull this bushing out. You can see that's just an oblong hole. If I bring that hole back to this bracket and then trim off the extra, that should, in theory, allow me to slide this bushing back, and then we can just put a bolt in here. What I'll probably do is take a piece of all thread or something, bolt it right here, make a stud to come through the bushing, and then nut it on this end. The bottom, we'll just have to drill some holes right there to drop it through. Once we drop that in, we'll do the same thing for the bottom of the rad. We'll drill some holes there and let this bushing rest on the bottom of the core support, and then we'll just figure out a way to mount, drill and tap or something to put a bolt through that part for the upper. So that's the good news about the core support. Now let me lift this rad and intercooler out of here real quick, then I'll carry the camera over and show you the bad news portion of it. Okay, now for the bad news. This used core support we got is junk. Here's where we pop the spot welds off, like I was telling you about earlier. That piece simply sits in there, something like that. It's a little mangled now, so it doesn't want to quite go in there. But the metal is rusted so thin that it tore out, and at first I thought, well, no problem. I'll get the 110 welder and I'll hammer that back, and it'll take a little time, but I can build that back up. But then you look down here, and it's just rotted. This whole bottom piece just rotted out. And you remember, we have to drill holes in that and let the radiator support actually lay on that. More of the same over here, just rotted out. The supports, they were gone too. That's another idea to give you how that was in there. But it's not a waste, and I'm not that upset, because to be honest with you, I bought this thing pretty right. And I bought it with the intent of, if it has some rusty parts that needs replaced, so be it. This doghouse was rusty, but it was complete. And if I just bought a core support, then I had to buy the headlights, the headlight buckets, the turn lights, the wiring harness. It all adds up. And I made that mistake once before in a Blazer that I built a long time ago. I wanted to go to the 4 headlight doghouse, and I sold the 2 headlight doghouse. I'm like, hey, I can buy all this stuff brand new. Why don't I just do that? And I went to the truck shop. I bought new fenders, new core support, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got to buy all the grill. It was a mistake. So I learned from it. This core support's junk. We need a new one. Not a huge deal. I found new repop core supports for around $100. The problem I'm having is they want $100 for a new repop, or over in Illinois, which about 3 hours from here, I found a good used one. So I can drive the 3 hours, go get the used one. He wants right out $100 for it. Or I can have a new one delivered to my door. It's okay. Let's order the $105 new one. Well, because of the size of it, it has to be truck freighted. Okay, no problem. I work at a shop that we have a forklift. We get truck freight all the time. Shouldn't be that expensive. Wrong. They want $165 to deliver this $100 core support. I really don't want to pay $165 to have one truck freighted here. So here's where I'm at. My $100 core support turns into $265 if I have it truck freighted here. Or I go over to Illinois, drive 3 hours, which is not a big deal for me, and go pick one up. But to do that within the next 2 weeks means leaving work right exactly on time, and with the time change we gain an hour going over there. So as long as I left right dead nuts on time and maybe exceed the speed limit a little bit, I could theoretically get there within the 3 hour window and then be back, but that just kills. That means you got to work all day, drive over there and then drive back. So long story short, I'm not going to have a core support for a couple weeks because of budget and time constraints. Now once all that's out of the way, by then I'll have a plan on which way I can go. I can drive 3 hours to go get a used one, or within 5 to 6 hours here, I can head west, go to LMC Truck, or I can head north and go to National Parts Depot, pick one up, make a road trip out of it. I wonder if that core support would fit on the luggage rack of the Harley. I don't know. Perhaps. But, so, we're going to have to figure that out. This here was not a total waste of time. Now I know that all we got to do once we get the new one is cut the spot welds, take the 2 center supports out, drill 4 holes, modify the intercooler, and do some bolts up top for the radiator. Not a huge deal at all. I'm going to leave this together just so I don't lose all the bolts and the wiring harness and everything. And when I have the new core support, then I'll show you how it all goes back together. Then we can put the doghouse back on the truck. That's it for this video. Not much tech, but it shows you again what goes into the last 10% of the build. Everybody likes to focus on getting that engine in there, and they dwell on that and making motor mounts, and quite honestly, that was the easy part of the project. And I shouldn't say easy. That part of the project really went pretty well. Now we're into, you know, this has nothing to do with the Cummins swap. Matter of fact, if I could have lived with the single headlight, we could have modified that core support that was still good and went on. This is what happened. This is hot rodding. This is what happens when you change stuff. You just got to deal with it. So now we're going to get into the wiring, the plumbing, and all that stuff. So leave me a comment down below. I know some of you have reached out to me through the comments and email and whatnot. You're actually building a project like this and telling me how these videos help you. So if there's anything I missed or anything that you want to see, let me know, because I do read the comments, I do read the emails, I do read the messenger, however you guys get a hold of me. There's a multitude of ways, and I will gladly share the little bit of knowledge I have with you if it helps you in any way. If not, we'll struggle through it together. Give that like button some love, and hit the subscribe. That's really the best way to keep track of these builds and to see what we got going on. If you hit the subscribe, and then the little notification bell will actually let you know when we post a new video, because YouTube's algorithm's all messed up. So if you do both of those things, it's no cost to you. Anybody with a Google account already has a YouTube account. You just sign into YouTube with your email and give that subscribe button some love and hit the notifications bell, and then when I post a new video, you'll get a little reminder on your phone. Hey, come check out what this idiot just did, and we go from there. The channel's growing, and we really need to get to that 1,000 mark. We're at 200 and something right now. If we can get to that 1,000 mark, that's going to open up a lot of possibilities for us and grow this channel. So that's really all I can do, is ask that you subscribe. I'll make these videos. I'll pass along what knowledge I have. I'll show you the mistakes. I'll show you the pitfalls of building. All of it. I'll keep it real. You just help subscribe and help me build this channel, and we'll just grow from there. With that being said, you get back to what you're doing. I'm going to get back on this crew cab, make more content for you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.